Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome our platform party, led by University of Maryland University College President Javier Miades, UMUC Acting Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs Blakely Pamieto, and United States Senator from Maryland, the Honorable Chris Van Hollen. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please remain standing for our national anthem performed by Sierra Camp Green, one of today's graduates. Graduates, please leave your caps on during the national anthem. Our president will honor the flag on your behalf by removing his.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome University of Maryland University College President Javier Miades.
Good afternoon, graduates, family members, friends, colleagues, and honored guests. Our graduates have traveled many miles to work across our stage. They have devoted many hours to earn their degrees. And as I look across the arena, I'm filled with a sense of pride for all that you have accomplished. I speak for everyone at UMUC when I say that it has been our honor to help you in the pursuit of your goals and your dreams. This year, UMUC celebrates its 70th anniversary, and today you represent our greatest achievement, and we are so proud to recognize and celebrate your success. I am also honored to offer a special salute to our active duty members of the U.S. military and to our veterans who are graduating today. Your service to our country has earned you the respect and admiration of a grateful nation, and we are so pleased that you selected UMUC as your institution of choice. May I ask our graduating military service members, our veterans, and the members of their families to please stand and be recognized. In addition, I would like to recognize the people who have supported our graduates in so many ways. Let us take a moment to say thank you to the husbands, wives, partners, children, parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, teachers, and dear friends who offered their love and encouragement along the road to this day. Thank you and congratulations to all of you. The heart and soul of every university is its faculty. Today, we offer a special thanks to the more than 5,000 educators and mentors of our graduates worldwide. With the distinguished members of the UMUC faculty who are with us today representing our worldwide academic community, please rise and be recognized. I would like now to introduce the members of the UMUC community who have joined us on the platform. Blakely Pomiero, Acting Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Catherine Close, Vice Provost and Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Cara Van Dam, Vice Provost and Dean of the Undergraduate School. Philip Callahan, President of the UMUC Alumni Association. Cynthia Thomas, member of the faculty and Vice Chair of the Academic Advisory Board. We thank you all. And it is now my privilege to introduce William Shorter, Jr., the student member of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, the governing board for UMUC and other public universities within the state of Maryland. Regent Shorter currently attends the University of Baltimore, where he is pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in Interdisciplinary Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, Regent William Shorter, Jr.
Thank you, President Mieres, for that introduction. On behalf of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to the graduating class of 2017, their family, and friends. I am pleased to join you in my capacity as the Student Regent with the University System of Maryland Board of Regents. As you may know, many University System Boards of Regents may have no student representation whatsoever, let alone a student who serves as a full member. It is a tremendous privilege and important duty to serve as the voice for the student population in this governing body. And I'll let you in on my little secret. Out of all the students I get to represent, it is you, the students of UMUC, that inspire me the most because of your hard work ethic and determination. I will also like to extend my gratitude to President Mieres and his amazing team of senior leadership, faculty, and staff members who contributed to the success of each of the graduating students today, and to Senator Van Hollen for his service to the great state of Maryland. I will also like to take a moment and congratulate UMUC for holding its first winter commencement ceremony. President Mieres, judging by this amazing addition, I'm sure that there will be many ceremonies to come in the years. I'm going to share a concept that many of you guys may understand. Life is hard, but life is even harder without an education. Despite serving our country, raising a family, or working a full-time job or two, you still made receiving an education a priority. I think it's safe to say while the road may have been long, it was well worth the effort and devotion. If the education you received here at UMUC transformed your life in a positive way, imagine if you used that education to transform our nation and world. That is not only the charge of receiving a higher education degree, my friends, it is the responsibility of having one. It is the power of one before the value of all. Again, on behalf of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, I'd like to congratulate you on your special achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Regent Shorter, for your words and your support for UMUC and our students. One of the great traditions of commencement is the keynote address. It is an opportunity to hear from someone whose achievements and words can inspire us all. Our keynote speaker this afternoon was elected to the United States Senate by the people of Maryland just over 1 year ago. He previously represented Maryland's 8th district in the U.S. House of Representatives for 14 years after first serving in the Maryland State Legislature. Known as a tenacious advocate for everyday Marylanders and someone who is unafraid to take on powerful interest groups on behalf of the working people, as a U.S. congressman, he was elected by his colleagues to serve as a ranking member of the House Budget Committee, working to protect vital interests like Social Security and Medicare. He's also known for advancing common sense solutions to difficult national issues. And in January 2015, released a comprehensive plan addressing inequality in America and offering a blueprint for building an economy that works for everyone, a goal that he continues to fight for in the U.S. Senate. He has worked to pass bipartisan legislation, expanding medical research, protecting the Chesapeake Bay, fighting childhood cancer, and passing the ABLE Act to assist families of children with disabilities. He has been a tireless advocate for small businesses and increasing educational and job training opportunities for individuals of all ages and every community. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome United States Senator from Maryland, the Honorable Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, President Mijares, and I want to say what a great honor it is to join with all of you on this very special occasion. As President Mijares said a little earlier, the University of Maryland University College is marking its 70th anniversary of providing a high-quality education with flexibility to students who are leading very busy lives, including so many of you who are juggling working at a job, whether part or full-time, those of you who are raising families, and those of you who are serving in the military. And I do want to second President Mijares' special acknowledgement and gratitude to those who are on active duty military service and those who are veterans. Thank you all again for your service to the United States of America. To President Mijares, thank you for your dedicated leadership during your very strong tenure here at the helm of University of Maryland University College, to the Board of Regents, and to the faculty and staff for providing all of the students here at UMUC with the kind of experience all of you need to be successful as you move forward. So let's give all the faculty and staff one more round of applause, if you would, and thank them. Most of all, I wanted to be here today to say congratulations. Congratulations to the graduates on reaching this very important milestone. You made it. I know your families are very proud of the effort, the sacrifice, and the persistence that it took for you to get to this day. Congratulations to all of you who are gathered here now. Now, I know, because I've been there, that you're eager to get those diplomas in hand. So I'm not going to delay you for very long, but I do want to make a few requests as you begin the next journey of your life. First, stay curious about the world. Be inquisitive about what is happening around you and the events that swirl around us in the public debate every day. We're in a time where there's a great focus and pressure in the working world to become more and more specialized, to become more narrowly focused. And that can be important in terms of being successful on the job and in your career. But at the same time, as all of you know, there are big debates swirling all around us in our communities, in our state, in our country, and the outcome of those public debates will impact your lives and the lives of your loved ones for many years to come. Impacts that will be felt here in our state, in our country, and in fact, around the world. Just this coming week, early next week, the Congress will be voting on a big tax plan. That tax plan will have consequences. It will increase the debt by over $1.5 trillion. And speaking personally, I have concerns about the tax plan, but that's not my point here today. My point here today is this is going to affect you one way or another. Just like lots of actions that take place in our communities, our local governments, our state governments, our federal governments. And so I just want to encourage all of you to stay informed about those debates. This is going to be a very busy week in Congress. You may have read that by next Friday, the United States Senate and House are going to have to resolve a lot of issues. Is the federal government going to stay open, or is it going to shut down like it did in 2013? Shutting down is not a good idea. Whether we are going to invest what we need to, both in our military, but also invest in education, whether it be in the form of student loans, whether it be in the form of Pell Grants, whether we invest what we need in our national infrastructure, whether we invest in medical research to help find treatments and cures for the future. All big decisions that may come to a head in a vote next Friday. And then there are big questions. Should we continue to fund the Children's Health Insurance Program? Should we fund community health centers? What will be the future of those who we call dreamers in our country? Are we going to provide them a more stable future here in the United States? Those are all issues that may be decided within 1 week in the United States Congress. And so what I'm asking you to do, not just with those issues, but with all of those issues that we debate as a country or as a community, stay engaged in that public debate. And we all have to work harder than ever to separate fact from fiction in the public dialogue. There's an old saying, I'm sure you've heard it, that we're all entitled to our own opinions, but we're not all entitled to our own facts. Facts are stubborn things. Facts are empirically provable. And unfortunately, in this very hyper-politicized, hyper-partisan environment, we've heard phrases crop up like, quote, alternative facts. There are no alternative facts. It either is true or it's not true, and all of us have an obligation to do our best to figure out what the difference is. So unfortunately these days we have to dig deeper to make sure that we're actually getting the facts. And I also believe that in addition to making sure we've got the facts, we do all need to do a better job of listening to the opinions of others and question our own assumptions and our own premises. This is true no matter what field of endeavor you go into. No matter where you work, it's obviously important to hear the views of your peers, whether it relates to work or whether it relates to other things. It's especially important in this day to all of us, for all of us to try to listen to the views of others in our political discourse. When I was graduating from college, people got their news and got their information primarily from 3 sources, information related to the public dialogue. We got our information from some of the nation's leading newspapers, national and regional, and from the major 3 networks. Back then it was just CBS, NBC, and ABC. So today we have the benefit of getting information from many, many more sources. Cable news, online news services, blogs, social networks, Twitter, many others. Your generation has grown up with all these different sources of information. Anyone, any of you can push a button anytime and transmit information or an idea to anyone in the world at the speed of light. And that means there are lots of voices out there, and that's a good thing. And it has had huge benefits, right? If you can share information quickly, you can also crowdsource solutions and put an idea out there or a problem out there and get the opinions from people around the world, and it has huge benefits to our standard of living. But in the political world, the proliferation of news sources has come with an interesting and troubling paradox. Because while the internet has resulted in a proliferation of news and information sources, the data shows that many of us are simply tuning in to the narrow bands of news sources that reflect the opinions that we already have, that reflect our political leanings, and tend to tune out the rest, those that we don't agree with, and that's probably true with all of us. It's natural, but I'm sure you've witnessed the phenomena where many Republicans watch Fox News and many Democrats watch MSNBC, and when it comes to the internet, you actually see those patterns reinforced through the algorithms that are used by groups like Facebook. So if you look at the Facebook algorithms and other social media, they will now automatically feed you news stories and information based on what you previously liked. And so when you turn on Facebook, for example, the information you get is based on what you said you liked, and that is a self-reinforcing process. And that is why we find the public split in many ways so wide, sort of competing echo chambers, and people literally talking past each other in many cases. So I believe all of us, regardless of our current political views, need to make a more conscious effort to listen to alternative views and put our own ideas to the test. Put our ideas up for debate and conversation and try and win the argument not by shouting louder in our own domains, but trying to interact more. So in our household, at the risk of raising the blood pressure of my wonderful wife, Catherine, I often quick change channels to the ones that are most opposed to the political views I hold. And it does require a certain amount of blood pressure control, but it is really important that we take the time to hear each other. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that just because we all do spend time listening to us each other more, that we're going to have some miraculous agreement among ourselves. People have strongly held views, but what I do know is that if we don't have more of that conversation, if we don't talk more to each other as opposed to at each other, the political divide will only get deeper and wider. Now, beyond engaging in the debate, searching for the facts, trying to talk out and talk to other points of view, people with other points of views, I'm going to ask you also to participate more directly in the political process. And I know this is a big ask because all of you have a million things competing for your time and attention, your work, your families, all the decisions that you make every day. And so it does take a very deliberate effort to participate in one way or another in the political process. But there are many forms that can take. You can participate in an organization that advances your ideas. You can participate in rallies. You can call your representatives at the local, state, or federal level. You can run for office yourselves. And at the very least, all of us should be exercising our right to vote in the United States of America. You know, my father was from Baltimore City. He then went into the Navy. He married my mom, and then they had a journey together when my dad joined the Foreign Service. So I grew up in many different parts of the world. I was born in Karachi, Pakistan. I lived in India and Sri Lanka and Turkey and traveled to many other parts of the world. In fact, many parts of the world where people did not have the right to vote and people did not have the right to speak their minds without fear of punishment. And so it was always difficult in those parts of the world, and remains so today, to explain to people who don't have these rights why so few Americans exercise their rights, including their rights to vote. So I think it's very important that everybody recognize that every one of those votes does really count. It's something we say a lot, but the reality is it's true. You can make a difference by participating in the political process, and you make a difference in the outcome by voting. In the United States Senate now, if you follow some of these very close votes, you'll find that they come down to the votes of just a few senators. 52-48, 51-49. We've had a lot of votes this year that have been 50-50, and the Vice President of the United States has cast the deciding vote. So all of those votes are on issues that impact your lives, some more than others and some in a very big way. And so each of those senators casting those votes goes through an election themselves, and some of those Senate elections come down to a very, very few votes. And so your vote does make a difference. We just saw a historic vote earlier this week in the state of Alabama that was closely followed by many people around the country. So my point here is that Whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, no matter what your political views, your voice matters, your vote matters. And in this great, bustling democracy of ours, we all need to participate. We cannot be on the sidelines. Democracy is a participatory contact sport. And so I do ask that in the middle of everything you're doing, you seek out the facts, you stay engaged, have a conversation with somebody with different political views or a different philosophy, and make sure that you get out to vote. Because if you don't do all those things, the people who do all those things and do vote are going to be deciding your future and your destiny for you. Let me close with one of my very favorite sayings. It's the world needs dreamers, and the world needs doers, but most of all, the world needs dreamers who do. You all have very big dreams for yourselves and your loved ones, and here at University of Maryland University College, you've been armed with the information and the knowledge that you need to go out and pursue those dreams. So on this occasion, I ask all of you to continue to be big dreamers and be big doers, be dreamers who do. Go out and have wonderful, fulfilling lives and do your part to help make our community and our state and our country and our world an even better place. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Van Hollen, for those inspiring words and for joining our graduates at today's ceremony. May we have one more show of appreciation for Senator Van Hollen. Graduates, this is a day to look back at what you have learned in order to achieve this goal. It is a day to look around with awareness of those who helped you achieve it. It is a day to look ahead to a brighter future because of the investment you have made in yourselves. As adult learners, you have faced unique challenges in your journey. In many cases, you arrived at UMUC with families, jobs, and a host of life experiences. Most of you haven't had the luxury of being able to study throughout the day and to take your weekends off. You have had to make time for your studies. And that meant taking time away from other responsibilities. It has not been an easy road, and we know that. So speaking on behalf of your professors, let me say how proud we are of your achievements. On this day, you don't need role models. Today, you are the role models for us and for everyone in this arena. Today, you prove you have what it takes, and what it takes is courage, fortitude, and perseverance that you exemplify. We congratulate and honor you. Each year, the university selects a member of the graduating class to speak on your behalf, someone who represents the special attributes of UMUC students. Some of you may recognize today's speaker from a special Road Trip Nation cybersecurity documentary called Life Hackers that aired on public television earlier this year. And if so, you will certainly recall his remarkable story. Today, Antoine King graduates with his Master of Science in Digital Forensics and Cyber Investigation. And we are delighted that he is here to share his journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Antoine King.
President Javier Miyares, honored guests, faculty, family, friends, and my fellow graduates, we did it. I'm honored and grateful to stand here and speak on behalf of the class of 2017, and I'll have to admit, I'm a little nervous, a lot of nervous. And I kept asking myself, what makes me so excited that all of you sitting out here want to hear what I have to say? And then I thought about it. You see, my story is your story, and it's one that we don't share often enough. I started this journey 2 years ago, and I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. You ever put your all into something and still have people tell you you wasn't good enough? You ever just wake up one day and had no idea what it is that you wanted to do next in your life? Well, you're looking at them. That was me. UMUC helped change that. I was offered to appear on a national television program, Road Trip Nation, Life Hackers. I was nervous. I second-guessed my decision because it meant the world would see the guy who had been told he would just be average. So many people would see the guy who was overlooked because in their eyes, I wasn't good enough. Everyone watching would see just how much I struggled to chase a dream that I didn't even think was attainable. But there was another side. Before, nobody had seen the fight, the determination that motivated me to work 2 jobs, school, sometimes changing and sleeping, and that green Nissan Altima with the missing door handles. Dents, scratches, for me driving like I was auditioning to be in the next Fast and Furious movie. Before we started filming the Road Trip Nation documentary, someone shared an inspiring story about a young man born in Cuba who at the age of 14, his father was taken prisoner by Fidel Castro. That same young man was permanently separated from his family, and I thought, wow, maybe I should just stop complaining. Class of 2017, there were days we didn't have the motivation to attend class. There were days we couldn't stand the idea of writing another research paper. There were days some of us struggled in ways no one could ever even imagine. I don't know about you, but through this journey, I learned to see the power in hard work because that's when we're most determined. A life without struggle is by far an uninspiring life. Without struggle, it can be hard to relate to others and have compassion for their challenges. So, before I close, I would like to leave you with 2 things. I would like to challenge each and every one of you to say yes to those things that scare you. Too often we say no out of fear, but imagine where it might lead us if we always said yes. Class of 2017, use your struggle and hard work to become part of a story that will lift others up. As for me, I recently became the newest member of the payment intelligence team at Visa. Pretty much, I'm uncovering criminal activity and investigating how profile payment entail. Oh, and if you wonder whatever happened to that young man in our story, he grew up to become the president of UMUC. He's our very own President Javier Miyares. I would like to say to you, my mom, Dominique Jones, a dear friend who lost his life earlier this year, and to so many others, thank you for being an inspiration and motivation when you didn't even know you were. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoine, for sharing your remarkable story. You are amazing, and we wish you all the best. And now the time has arrived to present our graduates for individual recognition. Today, we will call the names of our master's, bachelor's, and associate candidates and confer those degrees. Every name we announce today is of great importance, and we ask for your courtesy as each person is called so that all of our students and their guests can enjoy their special moments. Graduates, please remain on the floor until all of your colleagues have had the opportunity to cross the stage, and then our president will confer your degrees following the presentation of all graduates. Dr. Catherine Close, Vice Provost and Dean of UMUC's Graduate School, will now present our master's candidates. Dr. Close.
Thank you, Provost Palmiero, and good afternoon to our graduates, distinguished faculty, and honored guests. We will now present the candidates who are earning the following degrees: Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Business Administration, Master of Distance Education and E-Learning, Master of Education in Instructional Technology, Master of International Management, and the Master of Science degree. The hoods they wear symbolize this significant achievement and the investment they have made in their future. I ask that you join me in recognizing these outstanding women and men as we acknowledge their academic accomplishments and wish them well in their professional endeavors. We are very proud of you. Candidates, you will now be directed to the stage for individual recognition. Please remain in your seats until invited to come forward. Let us begin with the first graduate.
Anik Adrian Abise. Mele Cherise Ebron. Adedoyan Adiola Adedapo. Alabunmi Janet Adeyemi. Rafio Ademoye Adeyoye. Adegbenga Ayatunde Adegbiore. Ayodeli Abedemi Akinwale. Deidre Aguilar. Rosemary Anguiong. Jadiri Angustia. Marion D. Armstrong. Jennifer Lynette Arrington. Alafemi Adetunji Asabi. Shamika Atkins. Joseph V. Augustine. Nana Essie Ayawisa Atafin. Thelma Laws Elvin. Kenneth Edward Ayers Jr. Labna Abdagalil Babakar. Aisha Beg. Simeon Arioye Ayinde Bakare. Ganga Balakrishnan. Hyacinth B. Pamanuate. Jenny A. Barajas. Derek Monroe Beatty. Jason Eblon Bell. Kurt Howard Carl Bembridge. Hanan Mohammed Al-Abkari Bashir. Daryl Anthony Bethea. Travone Michael Ladrique Birch. Donna Bohannon. Shara Boykins. Kirsten Rager. Courtney Anna Marie Brantley. Keisha Vanessa Broadway. Tamara Brooks. Germany Nais Brooks. Mariaha Broussard. Tifara Latoya Brown. Kwadwo Boachi. Nastasia Camille Burke. Taylor Renee Campbell. Beatrice Cancel Perez. Sierra Kemp Green. Lee Mercado Kenda. Charlie Carrasco. Kevin M. Carter. Ebony Cates Brown. Michael Anthony Chandler. Natasha Gertrude Chu. Sarah Melissa Clifford. Charles Mark Cole. Pamela Darlene Cobbs. Nicardi Cook. Sierra Kateri Craig. Christian P. Crochita. Arthur E. Croto Jr. Bursu Crothers. Michael Anthony Crowder. Terencia Latrice Crump. Evelyn A. Cruz Jackson. Ray Marlin Jenkins Curtis. Philip Sleiman Dashiel. Rita Gunty David. Beverly T. Davidson Amjuli. Cassandra Lene Davis. Latoya T. Davis. Aaron Lorenzia Day. Paula Victoria Francisco de Guzman. Samuel Francis Aquino de Guzman. Shivleen Daliwal. Rosalind A. Dickerson. Stormy Marie Duckett. Alawafemi Sunday Abelene. Amanda Marie Ellis. Philip Wayne Ellie. Nekiro Sylvia Emeche. Judith Clarice N. Esome Epo. Courtney Scott Eubanks. Kashana Alicia Fair. Johanna Zoe Figgins. James David Findlay. Christine Marie Fitzgerald. Joshua A. Flatley. Sean Flowers. Frederick Demetrius Folson. Shania Marie Ford. Theodore D. Fout. Jennifer Christine Foxworthy. Manita Devon Frazier. Geron Eli Fredericks. Camilla D. Garrick. Alusei T. George. Allison Yvette Gilbert Johnson. Alida Gohore. Carolina Stephanie Gomez. Brandon Seth Gosnell. Avitel Karen Graves. Carla Maria Graves.
Calvisha Latrice Green. Vicky Louise Green. Olha Gudasplat. Natalie Rose Hammond. Loanne Ty Hanlon. Kiana T. Harris. Amber Jean Harris. Dana Stephanie Harvey. Ashley Marie Hathaway. Parish Natosha Hawkins. Tiara Hendrick. Margaret Henneman. Jasmine Kanichia Holland. Larry Bernard Jackson II. Gregory Dwayne Jones. Kendra Vanrika Johnson. Siobhan N. Julian. Leah C. James Butcher. Anthony Onslow John Scott. Priscilla Amwai Jonathas. Regine Jaqueta Johnson. Antoine Eugene King. Ashley Giovanna Leftwich. Kermit Henry Kemmerer III. Tracy Levon Kennerly. Maha Khan. Christopher Warren King. Kellen Wirtz Klapaska. Nana Ya O Koram. Melissa Afue Andipama Cooperman. AJ Lacoon. Tara Lee Larson. Rachel Lee. Rodney E. Lewis. Nicole LaShawn Lipscomb. Sharon Jit Lopez. Veronica L. Loveless. Michelle Malcolm. Archie Alfonso Marshall. Carrie Yasin Prempa McDonald. Shauna Tina Marie McDowell. Bashida Patrice McGregor. Kimberly Ann McGuire. Escadar Balay Malaku. Sanette Mesfin. Gramika Midaw. Tiffany Miner. Anas Farhat Mirza. Stephen Patrick Moore. Teresa Lee Moreland. Georgia Ann Moritz. Marlon Earl Moyer. Isofu Musa. Rachel Ann Mulholland. Patience C. Nagy.
Sanjay Nayar. Bonimpa N. Nabita. Karen Lawanda Neal. Tony L. Nesbitt. Stephen Giteri Nganga. Thong Ngong Win. Joan Ngozika Nwosu. Mary Elizabeth Nibley. Karen Arlene Nunez. Amanita Tianan Odi. Udochi Adaku Ohiri. Muyiwa Oladipo Ogun Ajala. Olatunji Osunji. Srinivas Praveen Pant. Antonio Sebastian Parisi. Valicia Monique Parker. Jeremy Dwayne Parmer. Kiona M. Pasco. Reshma Anu Paul. Tiffany Renee Peoples. Portia Owens Perry. Chandra Persaud. Stacy T. Phillips. Anthony Pieper. Nadine Althea Polinis. Mark William Postuma Jr. Aisha Rahman. Ramya Rakyapan. Dawn Lee Ronti. Nadira S. Renee Phillip. Karen A. Reyes Canales. Chantal Richmond. Summer Estelle Robinson. Robin Rogers. Shannon Faye Rosado. Destiny Villet Rounds. Janice Elizabeth Rowe Barnwell. Sarah Elizabeth Sadai. Paola Andrea San Martin. Nicole Marie Santos. Alpha Usman Sar. Ashley Nicole Scalzi. Sheena Augusta Cersei. Anne Shane. Danielle Maria Shepard. Ashley Lorraine Sherman. Sarah Elizabeth Shiflett. Bon Desena Sison. Amy Noel Smiley. Elizabeth Ann Smith Connors. Dorothy Smith. Bohannon Smith. Chuck J. Smothers. Brittany A. Spell. Saroja Meyer Stone. Steve Strickland. James Joseph Sunday. Isis Yara Tabrisi. Jamaica Tate. Jocelyn Renee Thomas. Edwin Torres. Aliu B. Torre Jr. Ngozi Nanami Ugwu. Kathleen Marie Vasconcelos. Ryan Juan Vinson. Wanda M. Vollenweider Pedraza. Jason M. Wagner. Ken H. Wang. Nicole Danielle Warren. Catherine Westerman. Jamil Alonzo White. James John Whitney IV. Latricia Chantel Witherspoon. Monkonje Thomas Wowiyu. Andy Yu. Sangeetha Raghavan. Rebecca Catalina Salmaron. Tashane Connie Campbell. Andre Najake. Marvin T. Johnson Jr. Cherry Miales. Wanda Y. Pate. Janice Nicole White. Arvel L. Johnson. Alexander Okeman. Fatu Kaylee Cargbo. Erica Victoria Tillotson. Kieran Lee Kong. Olashupu Oluwase Olobwa. Kenneth Uday. Jessica D. Lloyd.
Congratulations. At this time, Dr. Kara Van Dam, Vice Provost and Dean of the Undergraduate School, will present our bachelor's and associate degree candidates. Dr. Van Dam.
Thank you, Provost Pamietto, and good afternoon, graduates, distinguished faculty, and honored guests. It is now my privilege to present our bachelor's and associate candidates. Today's bachelor's candidates have completed degrees in areas including business, communications, cybersecurity, criminal justice, environmental management, public safety, history, psychology, and many others. Over the course of their studies, they have learned to think critically, communicate clearly, and work collaboratively. Let me also call your special attention to the bachelor's candidates graduating with academic honors. These are designated by the gold, blue, or white honor cords they wear. The bachelor's candidates will be followed by the associate candidates, who are wearing light gray gowns. These men and women have earned the Associate of Arts degree. This UMUC degree is uniquely offered to active duty military, service members, their spouses, veterans, reservists, and members of the National Guard. And now, candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Technical and Professional Studies, Bachelor of Science, and Associate of Arts, you will now be directed to the stage for individual recognition. Please remain in your seats until you're invited to come forward. Let us begin with the first bachelor's candidates.
Theodore Adams, Jr. Clement Adu. Adabakola Akinola. Jennifer Akomi, magna cum laude. Philip Arnett Allen, magna cum laude. Stuart Ryland Ament III. Katsiarina Ameliasuk. Ashley Demetria Anthony. Dorothy Adama Anyanwu. Jessica Nicole Asbury, magna cum laude. Michelle Natasha Atai. Beruz Babazadeh. Rashida Nene Ba. Marie Blanche Tatku Baker, summa cum laude. Andrew Michael Barker, cum laude. Elizabeth Catherine Barnes. Henry Ryan S.L. Barnes. Megan Bassett. Nicole Beechler. Brittany Tolisa Bell. Kamla K. Chanel Bell. Star Vinay Belmont, cum laude. Raven Nicole Benson. Felicia L. Betts. Kareem S. Bay Sr. Blake Bishop. Nicole Renee Bishop. Thomas Eugene Bishop. Gilbert McNabb Blankenship, magna cum laude. Monica Boateng, magna cum laude. Bismarck Atta Boateng. Lisa Michelle Bowman. Stephanie Lynn Boyd. Rhoda Branch. Deshanta Monique Brown. Michael Anthony Brown. Nicole Lynn Bryant. Louis Paul Bungo. Caitlin Birch. Danielle Burke, cum laude. Devin Dion Burns. Brina Burney. Nellie Nima Busane. Umar Belial Butler. Preston Cade. Trisha Mi Dating Kaluwag. R.C. Campbell. Michelle Lee Case. Lori Safas Morris. Victoria Irene Cesaro. Lana T. Chapman. Penny Lee Chase. Stephen Daniel Chatterton, summa cum laude. Ejioma Nancy Shodwicki. Shannon Michelle Cobb. Randall Kevin Connell. Hariha Chalik. Candace Makeda Collins. Tamara Coombs. Luisa Fernanda Cortez Mora, cum laude. Brittany Brian Cromarty. Brienne Miles Kraus, cum laude. Jason Andrew Davis. Julie Ann Davis. Travis Eric Dawson III. Dana Aubrey Day. Misty Lynn Diaris, summa cum laude. Rachel L. Deaton. Tamru G. Demsash. Yanika Pongsahirax Dennison, cum laude. Holly Patricia Deweese, summa cum laude. Anne Marie Deal, summa cum laude. Mame Awa Diap. Alicia Marie Dixon, magna cum laude. Marlene Angela Cartwright Dixon. Michael Dominguez. Aaron Michelle Duran. Dana Nicoy Dotson. John R. Doherty, summa cum laude. Nicola Michelle Drake. Mabel Kolu Duana. Jennifer Lynn Edwards. Francisca Omoze Ekelar. Angelica Ellison. Courtney Noel Ferry, summa cum laude. Justin M. Feigl, magna cum laude. Michelle Flanagan. Justine Focala Nadakwa. Darren Kyle Ford, magna cum laude. Grace Alejandra Franco. Kizzy J. Fraser. Brandon Leotis Gaines Sr. Kevin M. Garcia.
Christine Gerda. Ann Ganadin, summa cum laude. Shayna Rose Goldberg, summa cum laude. Caroline Gonzalez, cum laude. AJ Maria Godin, cum laude. Kenton Nathaniel Gordon. Michael R. Gordon. Alessa King Gregg. Edward Joseph Kozinski III. Marquez A. Hairston. Kellyanne Hall, cum laude. Shayna L. Hargrove. Dallas Faye Harris, cum laude. Wesley Eric Scott Hatmaker. Sophia F. Hatzidakis, magna cum laude. April K.A. Hayes. Cassandra Devon Hernandez. Deborah Hernandez, summa cum laude. Marlon Hernandez. April Teresa Hodo. Amanda Lee Herm, magna cum laude. Jose Franciscus Aresas. Nancy A. Jackson. Georgia Lynn Jansen. Ellen Irene Micelle Jeffrey, cum laude. Ashley Michelle Johnson. Kajana Renee Johnson, magna cum laude. Christopher W. Jones. Brittany Shanae Capral. Max Gerard Cachetas. Ashley Faye Kelsey, summa cum laude. Kumsa L. Kanisha, cum laude. Lori Beth Kennedy, cum laude. Deborah Kininse King. Tang L. King, magna cum laude. Joshua E. Kinsey. Roland F. Punda. Mark Anthony Kruger, summa cum laude. Tatiana Mornzi Swan. Kirsten Michelle LaFauci, magna cum laude. Lawrence Laurent. Francis P. Lawless. Ashley Megan Lehu. Maritina O. Lay. Nictina Kinsey Lewis. Janina Lori Mae Lipman. Tanaya C. Lomax. Mark Anthony Lobarde. Shantae Rochelle Lonergan. Cindy Stephanie Lopez. Justine Beyonce Moss. Sherry Lee Mages. Eve Lynn Mahowland. Corinne W. Mahafany. Joshua Robert Markovich. David A. Mariquin, cum laude. Teresa Kathleen Mary Marshall. Jennifer Craig Matatin. Richard Matos. Abiosa Josephine Arnaldo Maxwell. Eugenia McCaskill. Linda Diane McDaniel. Alani Kelly McDonald. Kevin Darnell McFadden. Derek S. McLaren. Charles Richard McMahon. Fred Douglas McNeil II. Charlene A. Meadows. Karen Stacy Malaeus. Trina Chazelle Miles Collins. Maliha Milkovich. Devana Miller Bole. Christina A. Moore, magna cum laude. Nicole Lynn Moore, cum laude. Angela K. Moritz. Winoka Munlin. Michaela Cecilia Newton.
Fatima Nizal Faz. Christopher L. Nickerson. Kojo Ferdinand Nohivo. Teresa Chiloga Obinwanko. Terry O'Donoghue. Omar Dominguez Ortiz. Anthony William Owens. Julian Vincent Pacheco. Greggy D. Pasquale. Avni Patel. Forrest Effierd Patterson. Jared Thomas Perdue. Michaela Karen Petty. Emmanuel B. Planta. Remy Nicole Powell. Evan Andrew Prey, magna cum laude. Jonathan A. Prim, cum laude. Toshiba Maria Pryor. Tanya Salo Ramirez. Rachel Yvette Ramsour. Kelly Maria Rowlett. Dixie Ray Lewanog Raymond, cum laude. LaShonda D. Reed Olin, magna cum laude. Jack Allen Reedy. Karen Joan Regis. Tamika Krishawn Riley. Jennifer Lynn Rill, magna cum laude. Jeremy A. Reiser. Tammy Christine Reiser, magna cum laude. Carolyn Lynetta Robinson. Michelle Renee Robinson, magna cum laude. Ian Philip Clinton Rusa. Betty J. Rose. Stephanie Rose Ruiz. Patrick Ingeli Ruama Sirabo. Maria Ananda Sabins, cum laude. John G. Saliba. Casey Simpson. Yadira Alvarado Sanchez. Timothy Gerard Sansone Jr., magna cum laude. Antonio Santana. Daisy Santana. Rosarin Sarintra, cum laude. Andrea M. Savage. Leslie Nicole Sciarra. Jamaica Angela Scott. Michelle Latrice Seberg. Conrad Chamberlain Shand. Jeff Allen Shades. Brittany Janice Shepard. Benjamin Musa Sherman. Kevin Anthony Shoemaker. Matthew L. Shope, summa cum laude. Charles Albert Silva, cum laude. Teresa Darlene Simpson. Amandeep Singh. Jessica Singhofer. Alexandria Nicole Skelly. Belinda Eunice Smith. Teresa Anita Smith Ross. Samuel Smoot. Thomas Patrick Summerfield. Ashley Kate Steelper, cum laude. Tasha LaShawn Starrett. Alfredo Stokes Jr. Veronica D. Stoney. Stephanie Swan. Jeffrey Anthony Sykes. Richard Zabo, cum laude. Jonathan Todd Turkowski, cum laude. Jaleesa Lorraine Taylor. Amy Lynn Taylor Evans. Patrice Michelle Terry. Dominique Deontay Thomas. Ruth S. Thomas, magna cum laude. Terry Lee Belere Thompson. Fombang Tita. Papa Abdoulaye Toure. Usman Dit Diate Toure. Edison Luis Torres, cum laude. Jamie R. Turner, magna cum laude. Jessica Elaine Turner. Anthony C. Tyler. Shelby Nicole Tyler. Karina Louise Twining. Ari E. Uviovo. Ronald Anthony Videla, cum laude. Brian Pierre Villanueva. Charles T. Vinson Jr. Patty Ann Volonakis. Derek William Ward. Cedric Warren. Patricia Ann Wellman. Jasia E. Williams. Rita Marie Williams. Rosalind Maria Williams. Russell D. Willis. Chanel Nicole Wilson. William Thomas Wilt. Lauren Kelly Wood. David Sterling Yarn, cum laude. Safa Salah Alden Youssef. Shante Monki Boast. Doreen George Coleman. Kevin Alexander Luis Alvarado. Dominic Kwaku Kujawu, cum laude. Ana Figueroa. Heath Andrew Gilbert. Sage Marika Dice. Andrew Burb. Misay Yalu Demise. Jasmine Alana Jones. Andrew Kipsang Churiot. Letitia Ann Morgan.
At this time, will all of our graduates please rise? President Miyares, in accordance with the recommendations of the faculty of the University of Maryland University College, the deans and I request that you confer upon these candidates the degrees, as in each case is appropriate, in recognition of their successful completion of all requirements.
Under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents of the University System of Maryland, and by that board delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you your degrees as in each case is appropriate, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations, graduates. You did it.
All right, now to symbolize your new status as graduates of University of Maryland University College, on the count of 3, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your caps. 1, 2, 3, congratulations! Before we conclude with the recessional, I invite you to join us in the singing of our university alma mater, led by Sierra Camp Green. The words to the alma mater can be found on page 12 of your program. Will the audience please rise?
We honor you and thank you for all that you have done to help us on our journey and make So with this song of glory, let's sing your name aloud. UMUC, UMUC, forever standing proud. The time we spent together at night or in the day, in many different places, at home or far away, unites us and then guides us. Now we're your precious jewels. UMUC, UMUC, the dearest of all schools.
You may now be seated. Thank you, Sierra, for that beautiful rendition of our alma mater. And now, UMUC graduates, as you go forward from this day, wear your UMUC pins with pride. We look forward to your continued relationship with our university as new members of our worldwide and lifelong alumni family. Once again, congratulations.
The recessional will now begin with the platform party, followed by the faculty and then our graduates. We ask our audience to please remain at their seats until the recessional has concluded. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your cooperation and congratulations.